Good evening. Welcome, Paranormal Peeps, to another episode of Agent Paranormal. It is Sunday, April 5th. And yes, we are all quarantined. We've got an awesome show for you tonight. We have some very special guests on board with us. And first of all, I want to check in to see how everyone is doing. If you're like me and you're indoors, you drink a lot of coffee. So if you're drinking a lot of coffee, you really need to drink the Agent Paranormal coffee. That's right. This is the very last bag. Oh, Kevin, come on. This is the last bag. Oh, Kevin was holding out. So
this is
two bags.
Bag. I will
only
sell
two
it for $400 right now.
I forgot to put it in the writer.
Mine's $395. So buy it for me. So how y'all doing tonight? How is everyone?
Doing good. Doing good.
Great.
I'm still working, so nothing's changed for me.
Thank you.
There's a strange man sitting in an office with glasses. How are you, Peter?
Did we lose
He
him?
needs to get out.
Hello?
We lost him a long time ago.
I don't even know what the hell day it is anymore.
Looking a little
All I
rough
know
there,
is-
Peter.
All I know is yous are all in nice, like, landscape views. My pissy ass iPhone, I'm like the wrong way.
No,
I
you're the
swear to
right
God,
way.
this iPhone's possessed.
Peter is not our tech guy, just to let you know. So if you invite us into your home or your business to do an investigation, I promise Peter will not touch anything that's valuable or electronic.
I'm the
Leave that to
historian.
Kevin.
That's what all the history shit is over here. So
We'll leave that to myself and Kevin. So anywho, so I'll tell you what I've been doing for the last couple of days. Is that Agent Paranormal coffee, Peter, you're drinking?
yeah, Kool-Aid.
No.
Kool-Aid.
So I'm going to tell you what I've been doing. So anyways, Kevin sent a text out about this documentary saying, hey guys, did you see the documentary, The Witch of Hinsdale, on Amazon Prime? I'm like, no, I didn't see that. So immediately I had to go to the TV. Immediately I had to go to the TV and get it. So we told Pete to watch it, and I think Pete's still trying to look for it. I think he was on like YouTube or something. He kept saying, I can't find it. It's not here. Amazon Prime, Peter. Amazon Prime.
I found it, and I lost an hour and a half of my life. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I just want to say my text wasn't that excited. I was just like, hey, did you see this doc? I think you should just watch it because it made me think of some theories and stuff that happened to you guys while you were there.
There was
I
going to be a
wasn't excited.
there was going to be a follow-up discussion about it.
Okay, theories. Well, anyways, I watched it, and some of it was interesting. It was sort of similar to the experiences we had, and some of it I'm really not sure where they got their information from, Peter, where they got any of the facts that they were stating. The witch, I don't remember ever seeing a witch. Did you see a witch?
No, but they told me that same stupid story about 1,100. Well, actually, we have two perfect people as our guests tonight to answer that. They kept insisting that 1,100 Native Americans were killed on that property. I'm pretty sure there would be some record of that somewhere.
No, it's pretty much tried to not bring any of that up back then. No.
Yeah, but they're saying that, like they said, Alexander Hamilton led the Continental troops against thousands of Native Americans and slaughtered them there. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that never happened there. I'm just...
Probably like two people, you know.
Well, we're close. 1,100 to we're kind of like that far apart.
But and if you've never been there, the place is in the middle, literally, of nowhere. You go to nowhere, turn left, drive 5 more miles, turn right, and there it is. It's like nowhere.
And I just don't understand why a family would drive out there and say, oh my God, look at this house. We want to buy it. I would have pulled down the road and took one look and said, yeah, nope, turned around and went the other way. I mean, it literally is a house that shouldn't be there. It's just the weirdest thing ever. During my visit there, Peter had an interesting experience, but I'll tell you about my experience first. So we were told that the house had 2 exorcisms done. Well, according to the documentary, it wasn't actually exorcism. It was a cleansing or a clearing. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that or not. But anyways, as we were upstairs in the bedroom, the one that has the most activity in the back corner, we had a powerful psychic medium with a spirit box that was channeling and asking a lot of questions. So as the questions came around the table, everyone had to contribute to it. And it came to me, and I'm like, they're like, Rich, ask a question. And I was like a deer in the headlights. I froze, and I'm like, how would you like to have a third exorcism done here? Would you like me to do that? And all of a sudden, everyone just got really quiet and looked up at me, and they're like, dude, why? I'm like, I don't know. I had to say something. So let's just say about 20 minutes after that, I started to feel sick. And that went on for almost 2 days. I went home. I was ill. I felt like I had the coronavirus. And I mean, it was bad, really bad. I couldn't shake it. I had horrible dreams, nightmares. I sweat through the night. I woke up. I had no energy. I just laid on the couch. I was absolutely useless. So I made a few phone calls, and I spoke with a couple people in the paranormal. I actually called John Zaffis. I called Chris Moon. And they're like, dude, you need to do a grounding. You got zapped. You did something to irritate something negative or demonic, and it retaliated against you. So I'm like, all right, so what do I do? They're like, well, go outside, walk on the lawn barefoot, and extend your arms out, do your best Jesus pose, and, do a grounding. So they told me a few things to say. So I'm like, what do I got to lose? So I went outdoors. There I am standing out on the lawn. My neighbor's mowing his lawn. All of a sudden I hear his lawnmower turn off. And he looks over at me. He's like, hey, Rich. I'm like, hey. He's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I mean, I do this every day. So anyways, I did this grounding spell. I went back indoors. I laid down for like an hour because I was just absolutely so fatigued. After about an hour, I woke up and I just sat right up on the couch. And I felt completely normal, like nothing ever happened. So normal, I ran down to McDonald's, got a large vanilla shake, a Big Mac, and fries. Because I don't know if you've ever been zapped, but man, afterwards, you really crave salt, chocolate, and a big greasy hamburger. So that's where I went. And then after that, it was fine. Never had another experience like that.
Something like that happened to my girlfriend, Leanna. We were in Rolling Hills Asylum, and we just started investigating, just walking through, just freestyling it. And all of a sudden, she had to leave. She had to have somebody come pick her up because she got sick. She was nauseous. She tired, and she didn't know why. She honestly didn't know why she had to leave.
Yeah, it's a weird experience because you don't actually get a respiratory condition. You don't actually get like nauseous where you're actually throwing up and you can't take food.
Yeah,
it's just it just kind of like simulates all that. But all it really does is just suck all the energy out of you, and all your organs are affected differently. That was, I don't know. I mean, it was bizarre. I mean, it could have been allergic reaction. It could have been mold in the house. I don't know. There could be 100 other things that were legit. But based on what I was told, and I've had allergic reactions because sometime when I go in these old places, I will come across something like mold or something, and then my sinuses will flare up, and I'll be sick for a couple of days, choking and taking meds and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't take any meds, and I could breathe just fine. It was just like I got punched in the gut, and everything was just zapped right out of me. It was a horrible experience. And I know there's another investigator that we know here locally that went there and did an investigation, and he basically had a whole bunch of reactions on Facebook. As a matter of fact, he said, that's it. I'm done with the paranormal. I'm out. And then, of course, that lasted like 3 weeks, and all of a sudden he's back in the paranormal. He's going to go take on a demon or something. I don't know. It's interesting.
That actually right there, Rich, is the reason why I sent it to the group, was actually to get you to watch it, because that kind of caught my attention at the end of that documentary when they said that the main character on that documentary, he was the only one doing provoking something in the house, and he got hit hard and became violently ill. And I remember when you were telling me how you got sick, that you were provoking at one point. So to me, that was the correlation, was holy crap. Maybe, I mean, the rest of the documentary, I'm like, they're full of it. But that was like, okay, well, there's something there.
Well, Kevin, I think we need to take you out there and you can do some provoking.
I want to go so bad.
I'm going to be so nice. I'm going to be very considerate while I'm there. And I'm going to say please and thank you every time that they do something.
I brought you some brownies. Here you go. Yeah, I remember at the end, he basically back at the hotel, he was sick. He talked about how he was sick. And then when he was up in the bedroom laying on the bed, he said he became very disoriented and just he couldn't leave. They had to drag him out of there. He felt like he had to stay, like something was pulling him in to stay and not leave. The longer he stayed, the worse he felt. And then they pretty much had to pull him out of there to get him out of the car, into the car and get him out of there. And then he didn't really recall a lot that was going on during that time. So, I mean, I can tell you hands down, I had an experience similar. And that place is legit, man. There's definitely something going on there. We did a spirit box session and we asked how many exorcisms were done. And it came back and said 2, which correlates exactly to what we were told, 2 exorcisms. And Peter had an interesting experience down on the walk path over to the pond. Peter, share that with us.
Yes. Before I get into that, can I tell you when I lost interest in the movie?
3 seconds?
Yeah.
Yes. No. When he pulled out his K2 meter, which is the original version, that you have to hold the button down, he was triggering false readings. Did you catch up on that? Did you see what he was doing? That light pattern is exactly the K2 reader basically cycling on and off. That wasn't an actual hit. I'm not saying they didn't have things going on there, but to me, that just destroyed the entire credibility of anything they were trying to do, because we know what that was. People watching that on Amazon or Netflix or YouTube, like you told me it was freaking on, I don't know, but they probably think that's what goes on. Anyway, Rich is outside. He's doing his little voodoo and sucking the bong of the devil's ding dong over there to get possessed. And all of a sudden, I see like walks right out of the bushes, right across the stone path, a little human being, maybe about yay big, was all black. You could see like muscle tone to it, and it just walked like it had purpose, walked right across the path, right into the bushes. I don't know. They told me it was an imp. I've never met an imp. Apparently, he didn't want to meet me. But
Are you near water?
yes, a pond.
We have those around here. They're called little people.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to describe it to people. It literally looked like a human form, completely human, just all black.
No facial features or anything, right?
Not that I could make out, no, but I could see like muscle tone. Like it was very weird. Like at first I thought it was like a squirrel, and then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, Rich, did you see that?
I thought it was a squirrel. I said, are you sure it wasn't a squirrel? No, a raccoon, possum. I mean, I went down through the whole animal kingdom before we came to the point. Like, all right, he actually saw something that was very human looking, just in much smaller form. So
what with our people, the little people, they live on the sides of the river, and when people are needed medicine or something bad gonna happen, they usually show up. But what my cookie did, used to tell me, she goes, whenever you're feeling down or you're missing somebody, or you need some sort of medicine, she said go sit by the river. Go sit by the river and just think and pray. She says, she goes, and then you look around, and if you find the roundest rock, that was the little people giving you that medicine. And that's when you take that rock. That's the only time I recommend anybody taking any kind of rocks from any kind of sites. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's they're good and, of course, good and evil on both sides. When I was born, my mother had a lot of complications afterwards, and the little people came in and tried to take her off the bed. She remembers that to this day. So they'll come to your house or wherever you're at. So I would consider that be good luck for you, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why Rich got zapped then. I had the good luck.
Thanks, Pete.
It's possible, yeah.
Appreciate that.
On the other note, I understand the grounding. I've that's an awesome way to do it, but that's pretty much the way your attitude and everything has to be when you're ghost hunting, investigating. I firmly believe in things latch onto you, and you can bring them home. That's why we put either sage or sweetgrass in our shoes, so it doesn't. What that means is it doesn't allow that spirit to see where you're going after. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we don't want to take them out of their environment anyway, because we don't want to bring them to home, bring them to our house. I mean, I have enough things that go bump in the night here, I don't need an extra stuff.
This is very, very true. So guys, I mean, you probably notice, our viewers notice, we have Daniel and Christopher Terrance, and they're not normally people you see on the show. They're guests of ours tonight. Very, very interesting guests. So guys, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so the viewers know who you are?
Go ahead, Aaron.
All right, well, he calls me Aaron. Everybody, whatever. They call me Aaron. First name's Daniel. It's because Facebook has a Daniel. But I'm 41 years old. I grew up on the St. Regis Mohawk Indian Reservation. Chris is my little brother. I grew up a traditional Catholic, Protestant, even a little bit of Islam in their kind of life. I was very open to all these things, and I had a very good chance to talk with elders. My friends were 65 and above, and my little brother, he took the scientific side of everything when we got into the ghost hunting. But I had the extreme privilege to learning a lot from my grandmother, and I just make sure everything's good. If somebody needs help, I help them. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. My name's Chris Terrance. Like he said, we both grew up on it's called Akwesasne. It's the St. Regis Mohawk Indian Reservation. I've always been interested in the paranormal since we were little kids. But like he said, he took the more traditional path. I was more, I have to see it to believe it, or you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't say skeptical, because I do believe in it, but I'm more of I don't know, like the scientific realm of it, which is, I think, why me and him work good together. He's the more spiritual, and the more, get it on camera kind of thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, born and raised here, still live here. It's res life. It's awesome.
Now, did you guys?
Sorry.
I was gonna ask. I think maybe at one of the ScareCon conventions, did you say your grandfather was a chief from around this area?
Oh yeah. I was actually thinking about that today. And shout out Howard Ave, Utica.
Yeah, Utica.
That's where he lived for a long time. And they called him Chief Henry George. He was how you say self-proclaimed chief. That's why everybody called him back in the 60s chief, I guess, But he wore the headdress and everything. He was an honor guard for the Pope. He was extremely Catholic. He was fighting for the canonization of Garalida Gratuita, which is a monk saint in the Roman Catholic Church. And he married a little Sicilian lady. Her name was Rose. And I know you guys watched the Golden Girls, and every time I watch that show, that Sophia is my grandma from Utica.
Yeah, little Italian.
Walk in her kitchen, you get kicked out quick. Saying these words that we don't understand, and we were out there. I just wanted to get milk. But
So
yeah,
we
they were
first-
from Howard Ave. We've been to Rome a lot, and even before the scare comes.
Yeah.
I was just about to mention that we've had our first encounter with these gentlemen at a horror science fiction convention called ScareCon, and we would pretty much chew their ears off for hours. There is such a wealth of information here. Not only that, they love horror movies, right? Is it horror?
Oh, yeah.
You guys like that crap, or is it?
I love it.
What's your favorite? You have
my
a
favorite
movie?
horror
Yeah.
movie? My favorite character is definitely Jason, Friday the 13th. But I'd have to say one of my favorite horror movies, because it's the one that got me into it, was Nightbreed. Clive Barker's Nightbreed.
Wow, yeah.
Absolutely love that movie. And, Pinhead and that goes along hand in hand with it. So, yeah, definitely Nightbreed would be my favorite.
Nice.
I have to go with Friday the 13th all the way.
Nice.
See, I'm a Halloween guy. My horror tastes go back to the 80s, late 70s. So anything that John Carpenter made, Escape from New York, The Fog. I love the movie The Fog. But the thing about
That
it,
movie right there.
they weren't gory, they were just suspenseful. And that's kind of I liked it. They had a story, versus just pure like gore, like a lot of the movies are now. And I mean, the Michael Myers legacies lived on for so long. And actually, the newest one that they had, I actually downloaded off iTunes. I watched it a few times. It's actually pretty good. They've carried on that tradition really well. So, yeah. And of course, one of the first movies I ever saw that really, truly horror was The Exorcist. And that was just one nasty movie as far as I'm concerned.
Just watched that the other night, 2 nights ago. Watched that.
Ugh, man. Then you get into the paranormal as an investigator, and you go back and watch that, and then you're like, wow, okay. You look at it differently. Like, it's like I need to look out for this kind of stuff when I'm like investigating somebody's home or some place or somebody's having some issues. So
no, the actress was much worse than the movie character. Did you all get to meet Linda that year?
No, she was there, I think, the year before I started going.
Oh my God, she is not okay, I won't even comment.
Oh, she was one of those
I don't think
celebrities?
she was acting in the movie. I don't think
What, she's pea soup at you?
she went through my volunteers pretty quick. See,
Really?
I wasn't the promoter of ScareCon. That was JV Johnson. But I worked for him. I booked all the celebrity, the celebrities, and brought in some of the vendors and stuff. Back, was it like 2011, I think it was? He came into my office over the summer and said, hey, I'm putting on a horror convention. And it's called, it wasn't actually called ScareCon. He had a different. Syracuse, yes. Yeah. So he came into my office. He says, I've got a horror convention in literally 3 months, and I've got no celebrities book. I'm like, okay, where is it? I'm thinking it's like downtown Utica, maybe at the Radisson. Or he goes, no, at the On Center in Syracuse. I'm like, holy crap, dude. So we threw together a list of celebrities quickly. I mean, really fast. I mean, and then at the time, Pete and some of my other friends were in the paranormal group I was in, came in to volunteer, and we got through that one. It was tough, but we got through it. And then we went to Turning Stone. I had a meeting at Turning Stone and brought in JV and said, let's move it to Turning Stone. I mean, it's so much more convenient. I mean, the On Center was horrible. You had to pay to park. There were like no restaurants within walking distance. And it was just a very aesthetic. I mean, it was just very like clinical, just like, you'd go to see a hockey game, maybe not for what we wanted it for, but Turning Stone was like the perfect place. And then we just blew it up from there. I mean, everyone from Ace Frehley to the original Michael Myers, Linda Blair, Ernie Hudson. I mean, and we just went from just horror into like pop culture, people from Three's Company, stuff like that. So, and I did it to about 2013. That was my last year doing it. And then it was just, my business was starting to blow up and I just didn't have the time to do it anymore. But the group stayed. We used to go each and every year afterwards and get a booth or two. It was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of like the big thing we looked for to each year, the weekend of ScareCon. We just go hang out. Yeah. And then they moved it to Rochester, and then we just sort of kind of lost interest.
I didn't go to the one in Rochester, but we go to the one that's Turning Stone all the time. And like they said, we look forward to going to see the guys from RIP. You know what I mean? Like they're awesome to hang out with, and it's so informal. like the whole convention is great. I love it. You know.
Well, you're talking to the former guys of RIP.
Yeah.
And
so you
Maeve
really
as well.
didn't meet Linda Blair then. Oh no, it was a lot of those. I couldn't believe how down to earth a lot of those actresses and actors are, and then there were the exceptions. But a lot of them, especially in the B movie realm, like I don't know if you were there the year with America. Oh, I can't think of her name now. America Olivia. She's in a movie called Bitch Slap.
No.
And she was actually a Playboy model. The whole thing. Rich had me sitting with her as a volunteer to help out.
Yeah.
And I started talking about the movie, and she like, you actually watched that movie? And I'm like, you and three ladies were fighting in the desert, throwing buckets of water on each other. I'm like, who wouldn't watch that? And she's like,
again,
holy crap, you actually watched the movie. Like, you're the one.
Yeah, the one.
And then there was Linda Blair. Rich had me sit with her because nobody else would sit with her. What would I last, Rich? About 8 minutes? Then I was on the walkie-talkie. I'm like, get over here now, or I'm going to do an exorcism on her in front of everyone.
Wow.
Yeah, she really went through volunteers quite a bit, and you know, she was there to make money. She was there, boom, to get everyone through that line, and she didn't tolerate, you know, people lacking behind or whatever, and you know, that was the problem. I mean, she asked me a simple flavor. She goes, can I please have a bottle of water? I said, I'll get it for you right away, Miss Blair. So we had a green room. Finally, I convinced JV, so please give us a green room. So he got us a green room. It was a nice room. Grabbed her a bottle of water, and I came back, and I think I was gone for only a few minutes, whatever long it took me to get there. And as soon as I handed her the water, she tapped on her watch. She goes, you're late. I'm like, I'm late? What are you talking about? I'm late. Here's the water. I mean, I didn't know it was timed. I didn't know there was like, you know, there was a stopwatch. I mean, I would have sprinted. But, you know, other than that, all of the celebrities I worked with were actually really good to work with. They all, I don't know, I had no problems with any of them. So some were more interesting than others, and some were more friendly than others.
Yeah.
But, you know, Linda Blair was a big, you know, outside of, you know, dealing with her, she was a big draw that year. She really brought a lot of people in. And she actually was a very big part of making that event successful. So, you know, just dealing with her was just kind of, you had to get through it. I mean, it was what it was. So, so guys, tell us a little bit about your casework. What is like the most, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not horrific, but what is the most hardest case, or the scariest case, or whatever that you guys ever did? That you were like, oh my God, this, I mean, I may not even do this again. It was just so impactful.
Oh, well, we've been doing it all our lives. So it's like we live on a small reservation and pretty much got everything from what's called the Hoof Lady to our version of Bigfoot here.
Yeah.
So we've been growing up with stories like that, and the whole ghost, they're there, you know. But the ones that really get to me are when it has to do with children ghosts. I was a rec coordinator for the Boys and Girls Club of Canada, and we were in school. I had one of my little students run up, and she asked, "Can I use the restroom?" So we let them, you know, because I was keeping the guard in the hallway. I hear her scream. She comes running out. "Aaron, there's a little girl looking at me through the stall." So I got on my mic and I called a female worker. I said, "Can you come check the bathroom?" One of the girls said there was a little girl looking through the stall. And I got a nope from everybody. So I was like, all right, male worker going into the female stall, document it. Going in now. I walk in there, nobody in there, nothing, nobody. It's all right. So I walk out, nobody in the bathroom. I'm standing there. I hear feet run right behind me. I look, I see a little girl's hair running to the gym. Ran in there after her, nothing. I was like, all right. I said, I'll burn some tobacco for you. See, that's our trick. That's everything you burn tobacco for. And, you know, and I guess they still see her at that school. And it's, I don't know, we live with them.
Yeah, I've never really had a, like a, oh crap, I'm never going to do this anymore experience. But just little things here and there. You'll see things, you'll hear things. My girlfriend firmly believes in there's people that attract spirits and attract that activity, and there's people that repel it. She firmly believes she's one of the ones that repel it. So every time we go somewhere, like Lizzie Borden's bed and breakfast, or we went to the Shanley, we do our investigations, and we see little things here and there, but nothing like, oh, there's a lot of activity in this room, a lot of activity in this room. We go in there and no, not really. You know what I mean? So, well, one time we were at the Shanley in Napanock, New York, and we were up in the where the prostitutes were, where they worked, and we were doing an EVP session, and she's saying that we're here visiting and everything like that, and she's asking some questions. But when we played the EVP back, there was a male voice saying, "Enjoy your visit," and we showed it to the owners of the building, and they said that was the voice of the owner before them. He passed away in the house. And so we thought that was pretty cool. You know what I mean? And the room that we stayed in, because we stayed overnight, the room that we stayed in, there was supposedly an older man that killed a young girl in the bedroom or in the bathroom. And that's the room we stayed in. And I had the best night's sleep ever. I don't know if it was a bed or if it was a blanket, but I slept like a baby that night.
Yeah, what was that place we stayed in Schenectady?
That was Bachelor Mansion.
Stayed in, and it's like so like, I don't want to like give it any disrespect, but we're like, we see something like when me and my wife were in that room, I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked and there was a lady walking through the room, and I was just like, and I went back to sleep. You know, and a lot of people, I tell that story to, they're like, how'd you do that? I see somebody walking through my room, I'd be up right away. And I was like, I'm just so used to it. You know, I tried to walk through the Rolling Hills place alone, but big guy over here wouldn't let me.
Yeah, because if you fell and land on your back, you can't get back up.
Yeah, I'm built like a turtle.
Yeah. So I had to be there, make sure you could stand back up.
What'd you guys think of Rolling Hills?
Huge, massive,
yeah.
But yeah. I personally liked it. Like the whole format of it, you can go anywhere you want. You can go down to the morgue. You can go here. You can go there. You know, I like that. I like that freestyle.
Yeah. Right. Did you get any evidence out of there? Did you have a lot of experiences?
I know, Aaron, you did, right? You saw some stuff.
Yeah. We were in the barber shop, and for some reason I looked one way, and they kind of made fun of me because I said what it looked like was a big staple, like a fleshy staple. And then somebody said, "Oh, the haunted office equipment," you know, and I'm like, "Thanks a lot," but this is what I was trying to describe to them, and you could hear it dragging, and they heard it dragging. And they all backed right up into the room like they were all scared. And
like, see, the skeptical part of me was like, you know, when he was saying that, I was, you know, the skeptical part of me was saying like, yeah, right, you know, whatever. But my girlfriend's niece was with us, and she's sensitive to different things too. And when he said he saw that, he looked over, but they both looked over at the same time, and they were like, "Did you see that?" Both of them saw that same thing at the same time, so that kind of confirmed it for me. You know what I mean?
Right. Huh. We investigated there also. It was big. It was a lot bigger inside than it looked on the outside.
Yeah.
we did it all the way to 4:00 in the morning. So it was a long investigation. But to be honest with you, other than seeing some weird shadows and stuff, over near the morgue area there, I didn't really get a lot out of it. I didn't experience a lot of stuff. I thought it'd be more active than it was for us. But I think they filter a lot of people through there, every weekend. And I don't know, maybe it's hit or miss. I do believe that paranormal investigating is like fishing, where, sometimes you're at the edge of the stream and you're casting and nothing happens. Then you walking away and you see someone else go to the stream and cast, and all of a sudden they catch a trout. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hit or miss. And you basically figure on all the conditions, the water temperature, the water level, the cloudy skies, which basically is supposed to be better for fishing than sunny days. All the conditions are right. And then you go there and you get nothing, So, I mean, it really comes down to that. The Hinsdale, to me, had a lot more going on than Rolling Hills. But I'm glad we went there. It was interesting to see. I mean, she really went through everything. I mean, I think she made Pete leave all his medicine and stuff outside. She wasn't going to let Pete walk in with something. Pete, what did you have that they were not going to let you bring in there?
I think that's why nothing really happened that night, because my Italian anger was so emboldened at that time. I blocked everything from everybody from happening. Like, she told me I couldn't bring my diabetes medicine in. I couldn't bring this in. She's like, well, what if Girl Scouts come through and find your medicine on the ground?
And eat it.
Well, what the hell kind of freaking Girl Scouts just eat medicine off the ground?
I thought you were talking about something like, oh, she wouldn't let me bring in my sex demon bag or something. And you talk about diabetes medicine.
No, it was diabetes medicine. And then basically we had another group member that knew her, that knew the owner well. And she came up and they like hugged each other. Oh, how you doing? Then she made her show her driver's license before she could come in. She's like, really? Well, we know each other. I need to see your license. I thought that was like sort of odd. I mean, they knew each other and called each other by first name. I'm just like, that was very standoffish. And then there was a lecture going on there with Chris Moon, I think it was. And they're looking for a cord to patch his Windows laptop or Surface, I think it was a Surface tablet he had, into the system so they could project everything up on the wall. And we couldn't find the right cord. And she was just like wigging out. And I'm over there going through a box of cords to try to find something. And she goes, it's not in there. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm just trying to see if I can make something work. And I was actually able to cob something together based on what she had in her box. So the presentation could go on. It was just, I don't know. It was just very, very weird to me. It was just kind of like she was standoffish, the owner. And then sometimes she was super friendly. Like, oh my God, how is everything going? Are you guys doing well? And I'm just like, it's just strange. So,
yeah.
Anyways, we did
actually it. I think the hotel we stayed at near the thruway exit was scarier than the friggin' Rolling Hills Asylum. What was that place called? The Wonderland Inn or something? I mean, $32 a night, but it was next to Bob Evans, so I mean, at least we did get a good breakfast out of it.
Yeah. Pete and I went out and did a performance at a college a few years back, and it was down in Pennsylvania. It was his gig. I went along with him, and they put us up in a Quality Inn to stay at. I love those hotels where when you close the door and latch it, you can still see outside. I'm like looking, there's like a cold air blowing between the door and the jamb, and you can see the light coming in. I'm like, oh boy, and it was like, it was in October, late October, so it was starting to get cold. And it's like, you got to really appreciate those hotels, man, where the entrance is on the outside and the door doesn't even truly close. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Oh yeah, they put me up there this past November too when I went back.
Did you get the same room with the door?
No, but I was so afraid I actually moved the dresser in front of the door when I slept that night. I had booby traps rigged. And then I'm like, wait a minute, it's not even a wall. It's all window.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a crazy thing. So yeah, Kevin.
I got a question for you, Aaron. So back to your story. You said you were going to bring back tobacco. That was part of your beliefs when it comes to spirits.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you also told a story on your social media the other day and said that you believe that there's medicine for not only the body, but the spirit. Is that somewhat the same thing? Or, like, what's the whole idea behind that?
Yeah. Like with that, when I was sitting there with her and she was talking to me, she goes, in the early 70s, the little girl seen a skeleton walk up from her basement. And my grandmother, or my cookie that she was telling me, she goes, we have this root that if you put in there overnight, and if it moves, and where that moves to, that's where that body is. Because I left out a lot of the story because, you know, a lot of it's you know, like hands-on stuff you're really not really supposed to talk about. But this root moved, and before I never got the ending of the story if the people did what they were told to do with that. But I mean, every time I passed that house, I think of her and what she showed me, what she taught me, you know, and it was I you know, I still know the owner of the house today, and I want to see if there's a body buried because supposedly in the 1920s, Prohibition time was big up here. That somebody was buried in there, and that corroborated with a town myth I heard years later. So
now, where are you guys located? Where
You know,
you're in New York, right?
you can't get any further north than where we are in New York. Like we're at the very, very top of the state.
yeah, St. Lawrence River, where it bends.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What towns are around that area that I would have heard of?
Messina, New York.
Okay, Messina. Yep.
And then Malone is the other way. But yeah, we're right in between them.
Yeah, you're up there.
Oh yeah.
Biggest thing was that David Sweat and was that the Dannemora prison?
Yeah, the Dannemora prison break.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, that was apparently the guy got caught in Constable and like close to where my dad lives out that way. So that was his claim to fame.
Yeah, but I mean the thing is, you know, I turn on the news and I look and I get a phone call and I'm on the phone and I say, hey, Bub, what are you doing? Why am I seeing you on TV? You're not supposed to be behind them cameras. You know, he's just walking. Like, I know people are telling him get out of the way, but you know, I was like, I still have that picture. I thought that was cool. He'll go where he wants.
So Christopher, do you go by Chris or Christopher?
Chris, doesn't matter.
Chris. So have you done any, I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention this, but we talked about this before the show started about a possible television appearance on the show. I mean, is that?
So it was basically like the highlight of my paranormal career. Like,
well, tell us, dude. Tell us.
All right. So I got to be through these conventions, through ScareCon and stuff. I got to be good friends with Jason Oz.
Sure. Good dude.
Oh, yeah, he's great. He's an awesome guy. So he called me up. He's like, hey, I have this case in Michigan. You think you can give me a hand? I'm like, yeah, what is it? So it had to do with the burial mounds out there and, you know, the haunting of the house. It could have been related to the natives that were buried in these mounds. So he gave me some stuff to look up. So I did some research and drove out to Michigan to meet him. So it was cool because I got to film with him. And I'm on the second episode of Ghost Nation, the first season, called Nightmare in the Nursery. More towards the end, it's only like a 3-4 minute spot. But after, I didn't want to sound like a fanboy, but after the scene was shot and everything like that, it was Jay, Steve, and Tango. And I was like, I'm this close to like fanboying out right now. I was like, you guys have no idea. This was like the pinnacle of my paranormal career. Like to be able to work with them on any level, it was amazing. You know what I mean?
Very cool.
It was
Trust
cool.
me, of all the people, we know what you mean.
What's that?
Don't
Sweet.
be afraid to fanboy it. Put that shit on business cards. I have. Don't be afraid.
Well, see, and then me and Jason's been talking, and I'm trying to get him to come up here because there's so much stuff up here. Like in the next town over before Covington, it's a town that was built like in the early 1800s, and like, or no, actually, what year was the town founded, Aaron?
Before the 1812 war.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, it's got a lot of history, and the Underground Railroad went through there, and just a lot of stuff. So I was trying to get him to come up here, and things were rolling, but then everything got shut down and quarantined. So stay tuned for that, because we might be able to be pulling something like that off. And if I do get a case up here, I'm going to see if I can get a little bit more airtime. But
Sweet. It's
and them were already up here. They did an investigation in Cornwall, Ontario.
Yeah, they did too. Yeah, when they were ghost hunters.
And at that time, where we're at, there was a lot of unrest. So they shut down the bridge. And there was just a lot of stuff going on. They weren't letting nobody going across the border. That's the Mohawk people. They weren't letting nobody go across the border.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened, blah, blah. We go to this convention. I say, hey, there's the ghost hunters guys. So I said, let's go check out their panel. And
Something just moved.
Yeah, it was a ghost. And so we go to the panel, and I said, so what kind of, I stood up and asked, so what kind of evidence did you find at the Cornwall jail? And he's like, Cornwall jail. He goes, no, I remember that. He goes, the one thing I remember was there was a whole bunch of Indians. They were angry. They shut the bridge down. They made us go an hour and a half out of the way just to get to this town. And I was like, sorry.
Yeah.
Ever since then, we've been friends. And I was supposed to, a little bit of jealousy, I have to say. I was supposed to go with Chris on that episode, but my daughter, she plays box lacrosse, a very aggressive lacrosse game, and she was she's my superstar, and I had to choose her.
That's how it comes down sometimes. Good for you, man. That's great. I mean, it's other than Peter, who's been a haunted collector, it pretty much rounds it out with the paracelebs. Paracelebs. I love that term. If you type in paracelebs, at least when I do, unless I edit to the dictionary, it never comes up like requiring a spell check. So it must be a real word now.
Nice. Jason Lively.
Yeah.
Chris, you got to get headshots made up. You got to get headshots.
Exactly. I got to get pretty first.
Everybody told me I had a face for radio, so I don't know.
Hey, I've been on 5 episodes of Agent Paranormal on the Disruption Network, so I think I qualify.
That's definitely good. Paraceleb, I like it.
Get that IMDb page up, and let's make sure you get your SAG card and all that stuff. So
I got one. It's free. Get one up there. What'd you say? Season 1, episode 2? Put it on there.
Right, exactly.
They put you on Haunted Collector and this is Peter Leonard. You're like, hi. That's it.
But you know what? I mean, we did.
It was 33 seconds.
We did the episode at the Halbert House, and they had a viewing party we all went up to. So they had the bar open. They had the big screen in the back, and we watched it back there. It's like Peter Leonard's coming out party. Paranormal investigator. We're all gathered there drinking and eating the bloody chicken wings and the doughy pizza, but we got to see Pete with his sweater, basically, which required 9 hours of time for 33 seconds. And then his cousin actually didn't even get on the show at all. And of course, they wouldn't even let me in to see it. I went up there to basically see John Zaffis, who's a client of mine, and they wouldn't even let me through the door. They're like, you need to leave. I'm like, really?
Wow.
I'm the one who set this up. I was screw you guys. And then it was like, so I left. That was that. So, and I tried calling John Zaffis to tell him, dude, why won't they let me in? I'm here to see you. But he had Sprint, and Sprint doesn't work in the North Country of New York State. So when he got back, he got so angry because there's like 9 calls from me. He went storming back to the site where they're doing the filming, yelling at everybody, throwing things, and having a fit. But you know, and he called me back up. Richie, why don't you come up? I'm like, nah, I'm busy now. Sorry. But my goal is just to try to get Pete up on the show, and we were able to do that. So I don't know why he doesn't have his own series, but you know, we'll get there.
We're all going to make a movie. We've been talking about it. We have to make a movie. There's enough talent on the air right now here.
I'm in.
Are we allowed to use the name of your group? Is it really Chubby Person Paranormal? Is that Chubby Guy Paranormal?
No, but that is an amazing name. I
came up with that today, Chris. Chubby Guy Paranormal.
Yeah, nice.
I love that.
You better go on GoDaddy and buy that domain name right away, man.
Dude, we were going to start a moped club and call it Sons of Obesity, but never got around to it.
782 years of combined experience. All diabetic. Chubby Guy Paranormal.
So Pete will do the voiceover when you guys get the show all set.
Sounds good.
He'll take care of that for you.
Chubby Guy.
You guys got to come down when we do the Rucker Mansions in Utica sometime.
Yeah, definitely. Would definitely. Got family in Utica, so you know we wouldn't have to stay in some crappy hotel in Utica.
It's only about actually we got a lot of nice hotels in Utica now. They built a whole bunch over the last couple of years.
The one we stayed in, you open up the curtains and there's Denny's.
Yeah, that's not a great one.
No, there's some new ones now.
That was in Rome.
I went to school in Mohawk Valley, and so when I was there back in 2000, it probably wasn't as built up as it is now. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of hotels, dude. There's a lot of hotels in Utica area now. I mean, right over New Hartford where Sangertown Mall is. I mean, over that area, they built 3 new hotels, 2 next to each other, and then a Marriott. I think it's a Marriott over next to Bass Pro Shops over there. So yeah, there's not Bass Pro Shops. I'm sorry, Gander Mountain, which is no longer there. But we built up quite a bit in hotels, which surprises me. I'm like, where the hell are they putting all these people?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know anyone was even coming to Utica. Now there's like hotels, like, and I don't mean like, mom and pops. I mean like, big names, big chain hotels coming in. They built a few right off the through exit over in Utica. They threw 3 or 4 up over there. So, which is probably crushing the quality inn over there, or the Red Roof Inn, or, Sweet Mama's Hotel or something like that.
You get off the freeway in North Utica, and it's either you're sleeping somewhere or you're eating somewhere now. So it's pretty good over there.
Right on. Yeah, I haven't been to the actual city in a few years, but
there's a big renaissance of Utica going on, man. And if they get this semiconductor company to come in, that's going to be building this big plant. They're going to have all these jobs, I guess, and they're already starting to inflate the property values. Like, people who own houses are going to throw them on the market, are starting to raise the prices. That was all going on until the coronavirus hit. Now I sort of lost track of all that, but we actually have an event scheduled for April 18th, which we notified all the ticket holders, and we're scheduling it for May, which I need to release that date here probably tomorrow. But then again, I don't even know if we'll make it for the May date, because
who knows how long this is.
Yeah, exactly. But I asked people if they wanted a refund, and they're like, no, we want to do the event.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that's awesome. Great. They're going to stick with you and, keep that money where it needs to be, and not, give it back,
the ticket sales goes to the Landmark Society of Greater Utica for restoration of the property. So it's for a great cause.
That's what you see on the TV today, if you order takeout, buy gift certificates, still plan vacations, just so these companies they don't go down.
Yeah. No, the ticket holder's been great. And, normally our tickets for our events are non-refundable because, go through the process of selling somebody a ticket and they decide they don't like it, and then, or just decide they don't want to go. So we consider it a donation. but given the circumstances of this pandemic, we were in like a place we'd never been before. So we're like, we talked amongst the group, Kevin, Pete, Maeve, everybody, and we're like, let's just give people the option of refunding their money, because I mean, this hit everyone across the board. I work in the entertainment business, so I took the first wave, the first hit when events started getting canceled and social gatherings went kaput. That's when I took the hit. And then it just kind of hit various industries along the way in its path, like a big tidal wave, So yeah. But the one thing that we've been able to unify over is the paranormal. And normally we go into Disruption Studio, which is an awesome studio, by the way, and do this show. So the people Disruption, Todd and Z, set up this platform for us to use. And this is actually our second show doing it. It takes a little getting used to, but consider the other format we use. We're all in the same room. But, it works. We can still get the message out. And it keeps us all from going stir crazy, man.
Without a doubt. Well, you have our contact info now. So when you do have something going on, shoot us an email and we'll make it down there.
Yeah. Kevin or Pete will be in touch with you guys. We'd love to.
We know how to find you.
Kevin even said he's going to buy you dinner.
Nice. Like I said,
he said any place you want. Any place you Red Lobster, any place you want.
Any kind of buffet is great.
Fried food.
He's even going to invite you over to the bar. Free liquor. You guys drink to your heart's content.
Are we going to the Willows?
Stay down here. Stay right at my house. We got a bar in house. I mean, the house that I live in, built in 1780, it has 4 spirits in it.
Nice.
We've been waiting for an invite for 4 years.
We haven't had a house for 4 years.
We're a little slow up and down in this neck of the woods here. So
we stayed at the Days Inn in Rome.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to stay there. No.
We did 3 times.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm so sorry. You're lucky you're not in the spirit world right now.
Excellent shot.
Oh man.
You didn't stay at that one place that has hourly rates, right?
No.
There's the one over Denny's, which I think you can just get sick looking at it.
That's the one we stayed at, the one with the Denny's.
That used to be our headquarters. We spent many hours in there. I put down many lumberjack slams.
I thought you were talking about the hotel room.
It's the Denny's, not the hotel room. That's not what we do.
I use the hourly one.
Yes. So, guys, how many cases do you do a year?
I used to do a lot, like local stuff. Get people calling saying, "Can you come over?" Blah blah blah. But recently, I haven't been able to do much of any because, working and everything like that. But I get out when I can. At least maybe 6 or 7 a year, and that's like when we go traveling too. Like I said, we went to Lizzie Borden, went to Shanley, went to what's that one in Saratoga? I just said Bachelor Mansion, Rolling Hills. So we'll do investigations like that, and occasionally we'll do like local ones.
So I get called by like family members or community members. Can you come? We're hearing stuff. So that's more. That's more on my end. I want Chris works a lot, so it's like we got to get connected, and we got connected at.
Did we lose him? No.
The Lost Delphine. We first we didn't get it on film, but it was the best ever because it even shocked me because I was like, whoa. We get into this house. So we're like, let's start this. So we go upstairs. No sooner we hit that top stair, the door closes right in front of us.
Like slammed.
Yeah. I'm like awesome. They're telling us they don't want us here. But I mean, we have a lot of areas here that is just, I mean, we have a church here that's from 1756. For that, it was a blockhouse for the British whatever army there they had there, and they still see them. but we never really want them to go away. You know, it's all about just having the respect of they just wanted the respect that they're still there. And you know, our people do have a lot to do with food, apparently. We a lot of our ceremonies are food based. But like a lot of people, when I tell them, I said, when you start hearing stuff, this is what you do to calm them down, to live with them, because they're here too. They're obviously not completed what they have to do, and hopefully they just calm down. And if they do want them out of there, then we have other societies that can handle that. But it does get, I mean, like the hoof lady, that's a whole scary thing. To me, that was to deter drunk husbands going and finding other women, because they would say that the husband would go to these barn dances they had a long time ago, you know, barn dances, and a pretty woman would be there, and he'd go with him, and he was married, and they'd walk off and they'd go to another barn, and as he would walk behind her, and he noticed that her feet were hoofs. And to this day, we still have that, and you could hear our little guys running around. Well, the hoof lady's gonna get you if you don't, if you
behave.
If you're not good, you know. Yeah. And we have just a whole bunch of stuff. Our version of Sasquatch, and we have one of those here. It's like we have everything in this little window area, and it's mostly scary.
All right, so you said something that just appealed to me here. Bigfoot, Sasquatch.
Yeah.
I've been looking at this for a long time, and it just fascinates me on so many levels, good and bad. So, I mean, what is your call on the Sasquatch, on Bigfoot?
He's a woodland spirit.
Woodland spirit?
Yep. I mean, you guys catch spirits on your film. Why can't you be out in the woods and catch something that's there for the protector of the woods? I mean, you know.
That's why you don't find bodies. You don't find, anything like that.
Or Pete.
Because it's a spirit.
I'm sorry, I drank too much iced tea.
Wow, you guys move quick.
The last show we did, we were doing a spirit box thing, and it was Pete sitting at his table. He had a candle lit. It was all dark. We were asking questions, and all of a sudden, the refrigerator's behind him. All of a sudden, he gets up, the refrigerator opens up, lights up the whole thing, takes out the soda, closes the door. I was dying. So going back to Bigfoot for a second here. So you believe it's a woodland spirit versus like a
cryptid
creature, a cryptid or anything like that. Basically, a bipedal ape, gigantus, whatever they called it. Yes, thank you. It's been a while since I actually downloaded a book on my iPad about it, and it was fascinating. The story of Bigfoot came from like a couple scientists, like PhDs, and they're talking about how it is totally feasible and possible to have this ape creature exist. And basically the prints and they went all the way down to the motion of how it walks and how it makes sense, the height. I mean, they just analyzed this thing almost like on a computer imaging design and everything. It was just amazing to read this book and say, absolutely something like this could live. But there's Pete. I mean, Pete. Anyways, so you think it's a spirit versus actually this ape creature that's been walking from the Himalayas across the bridge from Russia over into North America.
The Bering Strait theory.
Bering Straits. Well, they're connected at one time, Russia, North America. So it moved across into Alaska, then obviously down through Canada, British Columbia, down into like Ohio has a lot of sightings of Bigfoot, believe it or not. So, even know what they've got the skunk ape in Florida, and they've got it all over the place.
See, like all that stuff to me is like. All that
I'm sorry.
is like,
I got room for more.
let's take, for instance, the New Jersey Devil.
Right.
That was there before it was called the New Jersey Devil. So to me, I mean, I don't even want to call it a devil because that's probably not what it is. You know, as far as Sasquatch, yeah, they find their footprints and they put the casts and all that. A spirit can do that because they just can. Because what I relate to it is how does a spirit scratch a person when they're doing investigation? It's a physical
manifestation.
Yeah. So why not Bigfoot when he steps on something, physical manifestation on the ground?
So does Bigfoot have to eat?
It's a good question.
Beef
I'm
jerky.
just saying they basically find these like animals mutilated, pigs. People are saying they've seen it carrying a pig off into the woods and stuff like that. Deer, all this kind of thing. So,
well, I mean, I believe it's a spirit, and we feed spirits. So, and that's part of our ways is we feed the spirit to calm them down, or if they need to go somewhere else, they can go somewhere because that's their next path, their next journey. But as far as Sasquatch, it's to me, what if it was it's how you put it? Because when we feed the spirit, they take the taste of the food with them. That they don't take the physical food. So maybe that spirit took that spirit of that deer, that spirit of that hog, or whatever, or whoever made an offering to that spirit, or whoever's open enough to see that, because apparently it's pretty sad on those commercials. Nobody takes pictures of him anymore.
His name is Daryl too, by the way.
Yeah, Daryl.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. Or as I don't know if anybody knows Bubbles, but check it out, Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
So are you thinking that the Jersey Devil is a woodland spirit as well?
It's definitely some kind of spirit. My wife's tribe has a spirit.
Excuse me, guys. I will be right back.
You going to Pete's house?
Too much not.
I've seen this movie. He doesn't come back.
He's scared because he's in quarantine.
He's going to come walking in through my door now.
Oh, but back to the spirit thing. Yeah, the woodland spirits. We even have one of our societies that have masks made out of the wood. It's made out of the live wood, but our legend behind that is an alien, if you believe it. An alien came from outer space, came and seen our creator making all these great things on this world, and he's like, who's this guy, just being all big, who's he think he is, this and that. I'm more powerful, I came from this place up in the sky. So the creator says, all right, you're more powerful than me. We'll move that mountain right there. And that mountain is the Adirondacks, or Adirondacks, we call it. And the alien being tried to move it so much, and he couldn't. So he turned to the creator, said, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean to be so big-headed, or, and the creator says, turn around. And the alien turned around, and that mountain moved right to him, and he smashed his face on it. And that's what our society's mask. They looked like their face was smashed to the side, and that was representing that part of that story. But the alien said, "Beg the creator, don't kill me, don't hurt me." And the creator said, "Well, I'm gonna make you a spirit of the woods to protect my people that I'm making here." So with that story, and I related it to Bigfoot and the Jersey Devil, and all that other stuff. You know, they're spirits and they could move things, they could touch things, and you know, apparently the Blair Witch too can hurt somebody. I seen that movie.
She's a lovely girl and a pot farmer now.
You know, I try not to get so serious and throw a little joke in there because I mean, I can go on a lot about this stuff. I mean, I was just raised in it, and you know, going back to my cookie, she was sitting at the table preparing her tobacco, talking, because we have to talk to our medicines. They're alive, they're spirit, they're there for us. She's talking to it, and I look in on the table, there's a little pile there, and I see a little hand pushing it, and I'm like, "Cookie, did you just see that?" Then she said, "Yeah, they want you to have that. That's yours." And I'm like, so she put it in my tobacco pouch, and she said, "The little people, they want that protection for you." So I mean, it's just when you brought up like little people and everything like that, it's just that stuff is real, and you know, powerful.
So you brought up, you were talking about the creator and aliens. So is everything, and your beliefs are everything alien based? So we were not terrestrial, is that? Just
that, or not just that. We're told we're come for the sky world.
Okay.
When the sky woman fell from sky world, that's what she made the earth here, and that's part of our belief system, you know. But.
So what about like demonic? Do you have any kind of spirits like that? Like what's your rendition of demonics?
When I run into stuff like that, I call my good buddy the Catholic priest. No, it's to me, when you run into that, it's about where your mind is, how your mind is prepared to react to that, because it's gonna know. And if you're inside and is weak, it'll jump on you, make you feel bad, throw up, and not make you feel like yourself. And then you go and ground yourself like Rich.
Yeah,
Rich.
Rich fine. Yep.
Sorry.
All right.
But see, we have like
you get grounded, and it's like you're pushing that away from you. You know, you take your own medicine and you're pushing it away. So everybody's got that capability in them.
So we have good medicine and bad medicine. We have people on the res that will practice one or the other. Like there's people that do good medicine, and on the other end, there's also people that do bad medicine. And it's like putting, in layman's term, like putting a curse on you. And that's kind of like our demonic entities, demonic things happening is when somebody is doing something bad to you.
Yeah, shapeshifters and everything.
Yeah.
Like when I was talking with my grandmother Rose, she was a little girl, and it was the big earthquake. I think it was 1942. The earthquake just happened, and she ran upstairs in her house, and she was real scared. She thought the whole world was just coming to the end, you know. She's a little girl, and she looked over in her window. Mind you, she's on the second floor, and there was a cow looking in her window. And she ran. She called her Duda, her Duda. She told her what happened, and all the men came, and they started beating up the cow. And I hope PETA isn't listening, but they beat up the cow and it ran away. And the next day they found a woman that was beat up and hurting. And they labeled her the witch.
Yeah, shapeshifter.
Yep.
Good thing they didn't have a barbecue.
Can you imagine basically throwing that up on the grill and all of a sudden turns into a woman? What the hell did you do? What the hell, man?
Get it on film.
I'm still going to eat. I'm just saying, what the hell?
That's a story of mine with my wife. Remember that one, Chris?
What's that?
See, before anything, I was a DJ I started in 1999. I was a DJ for years, wedding DJ, and paranormal investigator on the side. But I come home 2:00 in the morning, and for some reason, I was real hungry, and my wife made a spaghetti for dinner that night. So I went and heated a big pile of it up. I mean, just a pile. Something you shouldn't be eating at 2:00 in the morning. So I get done eating, and the Ring comes on. The Ring 2, the trailer. Ring 2 for the trailer. The trailer. So I'm watching that, and just her moves freak the hell out of me for some reason. So I go to bed. All night I'm dreaming of this girl, just her movements, and her coming out of the TV, and my last dream, she's face to face with me. So she's face to face. I open my eyes, and I look, and I see a silhouette with hair down and a white outfit. And I swung. And I connected. As soon as I realized that I hit something, which was my wife when she had sat up in bed. If I was gonna bring her to the hospital, how was I was going to jail. She hates that story, by the way. I could feel the anger coming from here.
I can just hear you trying to explain that to the cop. I thought it was the girl from The Ring.
Did you see that Ring movie? It's scary, man.
Listen, I had a mounted spaghetti, and I watched The Ring, and it was just, I can't do it.
I love the paranormal stuff about different cultures, because the Japanese culture, I watch the stuff on YouTube, and you'll see a hand come out of the corner and then drop back, and I'm like, that's creepy. That's like, I call them peekaboos, to look over the back, and even Muslim culture, I watch them on YouTube there. I was like, that's got to be the biggest one ghost hunters I've ever seen, because they run after it. I see other people running this way. They're running right into that room, yelling their prayers. And I was like, man, them people are brave. And they get some pretty good evidence that looks like it's not real, but,
Well, we need to send them to the Hinsdale house.
See, I want to go there. Where is that anyway, Hinsdale House?
Hinsdale, New York.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard of it.
Near Cuba.
It's in the western side of New York.
Are you guys going there again?
Yeah, we'd like to schedule an investigation, because we're going to sacrifice Kevin there. But
nice.
I'll be with you.
We've never gone.
We'll get subs.
You just bring that sucker punch and punch whatever gets in our way. Where's Kevin? I'm hiding behind Aaron. That's where
it's not very big. That's the problem. It's not a very big place at all. It's 2 stories, and it's got like 3 bedrooms upstairs and a living room downstairs and a kitchen and a bathroom. It's not altogether that big of a place. So you can't really go in there, with a huge party.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. So
it's just me, Kevin, and Chris.
Like I said, I'm 6'6", 400 pounds.
So actually it's about 5.5 hours.
If we go.
It's 5.5 hours from Messina.
Okay.
Yeah, you just drop down 81 and go to Rochester, and drop down 390 to 86 and put you into Hinsdale. It's
Okay, cool.
All right,
Yeah.
so we stop at Nick Tahoe's first.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yep.
yeah, it's but the
It's
place
actually
is
like it's
got
like
activity.
a half hour from Lilydale too, I believe.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
That could be a really good weekend.
Right.
Well, if they already know places to eat, I mean, we're set. I don't really care about the Hinsdale house.
Yeah, it's about an hour from Lilydale. A little over an hour.
So I'll bring the steaks. Rich can go over there and conjure the devil again, and he can cook them with the fire of hell, and then we can.
I swear to God, Pete, if there's a woman tied up in your car when you show up, I'm gonna be pissed.
I'll tell you
Look,
this,
that
I'm
was
not
once,
gonna.
and I wasn't convicted.
You just can't go near playgrounds.
Yeah. Not true.
Just because the
Joe.
state says
Not
I have
true.
to have a special pumpkin in my window.
Well, I totally messed up that hangover line.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to coordinate something and go out there. You guys will not only is the house got activity, but there's a pond near it that's got some stuff going on. There's hills behind there where people see apparitions and stuff like that. So there's a lot more going on than just a house. But when we first got there, I told Pete that this reminds me of a paranormal frat house. And what I mean by that, imagine if you're a paranormal group and one of the founders of the group buys a haunted house. Where are you guys going to be every weekend?
Oh, yeah,
You're going to
without a
be
doubt.
there. They had a big fire pit out back, and I'm sure there's beer in the fridge. I mean, it would be if I owned it. And they would go up there and probably party on, and then do some serious spirit box sessions. That's what we would do. So it's like a paranormal frat house. Dan, who's the owner, has done a lot of work to it, and he's preserved it pretty well. But that's the first thing I told PA. This is like a paranormal frat house, man. That's all. That's all I could think of when I got
I'm
there.
not climbing up that hill again.
Oh yeah, the hill in the back
I'm
and
not
the woods
climbing up
goes
there.
up pretty steep. But
I'll
you
bring
know,
a
I'm out.
camping chair. I'll just sit by the pond and look for little people with Pete.
there you go.
Perfect.
Well, according to the Witch of Hinsdale, that's where the witch is, and she's trying to draw your soul into the pond.
Good
So
luck.
she's looking for a vessel.
We're just gonna set up a
Yeah.
trap and see if there's a leprechaun who'll show us where the gold is.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
That almost sounds like a legend from here. She said that she tries to drag them in the water or lure them in the water.
Well,
Oh yeah.
it's weird. The whole movie was talking about how there's a witch there, and she must have did a blood sacrifice. So there's a devil in the place, and then she's kind of works for the devil, and she's trying to find a vessel. I don't know if the vessel's for her or for the devil. But the crew that was there investigating, they kept putting holy water on themselves, and the one part I thought was kind of interesting, which I really don't think was faked at all, was the female investigator / sensitive went into the bathroom to pee. And when she went in there, there's the door to the basement's right next to the toilet. I mean, how creepy is that, right? So she's in there to go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden the lights turn off, and she hears a noise, and they can't open the door to get in, and she can't open the door to get out. So she was freaking out. They filmed it. She's freaking out, and they're trying to open the door. They couldn't get it open. Obviously, it could have been faked. I mean, anything could be faked. But, I mean, honestly, she was pretty rattled by it afterwards. I was talking to her. She's pretty rattled about it. So,
Oh yeah.
so that's actually, and then when they're in the room, I think it was in the living room, you could hear thumping going on down in the basement, which
More
is
than
kind of
something.
interesting.
I mean, there was something hitting hard when they were standing there.
Yeah. So going on the fact that they're being credible and this really was happening, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely.
If they're faking it, then shame on them. It was good for entertainment value.
Definitely.
Back to that, you said that up here, the St. Lawrence River, matter of fact, it's one of our legends that there's a sea monster in there, and she's a female, and she'll only take men down with her. And about once a year, we have a couple men drowned in that river. Never girls.
Yeah.
It's
Damn, I'm staying out of the St. Lawrence River.
I
Let's go jet skiing up there. And
you just got to treat it with respect, and she'll treat you with respect.
noted.
Yeah, they always claim at least 1 or 2 people a year, and it's sad, but it happens.
So do you guys get any very weird, let me not use the word crazy, eccentric things? Like what I mean, one of my favorite cases of all time, this lady called us up and told us she was walking through a cemetery. She found a box that was sealed. She opened up the box and released a 37,000-year-old demon named Herb or something. And what was that, Osceola or something, Rich? I don't even remember where it was up north. She's like, can you help me?
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I can't fight a 37,000-year-old demon. I don't know where the hell you even got that from.
That sucker's got to have some power, right? Like vampires, the older the vampires are, the more powerful they are. And here you have a 37,000-old spirit.
You don't
You
want
probably
to
got
mess
made
with
fun of
anything.
being named Herb.
Yeah, exactly. You don't mess with anything named Herb.
Yeah.
Now, if
But
it was
the box said
Daryl
do
or
not
something, it'd
open.
be a different story.
Wow.
Great. A demon with a nickname. No.
Right.
I mean, I would just, I don't know. I mean, I have my own little ceremony that I was taught, you know, like just to calm down the spirit, because, you know, there's something bothering her. Her mind's making it seem like it's a 37,000-year-old spirit named Herb. Then it's a 37,000-year-old spirit named Herb to her. So, you know, it's you still do it out of respect for the person and the spirit, but you know, their stories, you just take them.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, we actually do a consult before we do an investigation. So if we ever get a call, we don't just run in with, you know, Ovulus is ablazing. Okay, we basically do a consult to ask really what's going on, talk with them. Many times we go to the location with some handheld and do a few, you know, take a few measurements. But other than that, before we go full in, like I said, Ovulus is ablazing and do an investigation. But one thing I've noticed about paranormal activity, and this is a question for you guys, has the activity for you slowed down? I mean, the number of cases that is slowed down over the last couple of years. There was a time in the like 2010 to like 14, 15 in there that, I mean, cases were just like popping up all the time. And I think a lot of that was driven by all the TV shows, the paranormal shows. And after that, it just sort of like started to go down with the decline of the shows. Now, they're coming back up again. There's more of them back on the air. And also now, like, people are like starting to want cases, want things investigated. I don't know if it just brings awareness to them or, I mean, what the social aspect of this. But my question is that kind of similar for you guys, or are you in like some seven?
It definitely comes in waves. It like you said, I think it correlates with the popularity of the TV shows and stuff like that. But yeah, it's always never gone away. You know what I mean? There's always somebody talking about it. That, like, just recently, the Facebook page came up, Alcazesman Scary Stories. And that's bringing out a lot more people that were kind of afraid to talk about it. But now it's, they're starting to open up more and more, and you'll start seeing more stories. And they're actually a lot of them are pretty creepy. They're not looking to get investigated, but they want to talk about it, you know?
Yeah, it's,
and that's a big thing with our people. They're very, like, taboo. You know, our family was given the, not title, but like the responsibility to handle the death part around here. That was my cookie doodle's expertise, you want to say. But I mean, it's, I don't know. For me, it comes up either maybe 3 or 4 times a week. Even sitting at my job, you know, I'm sitting there. They'll come in, Aaron, did you see that? I'm like, yeah, I seen it. Did you? Yep. And, you know, I'll post a story on my social media. You know, we got a little kid running around at my office. And You know, it's just like, oh, as long as he's happy, you know. But it's I don't know, the scary stuff is it comes and goes.
Sweet.
I tell you, if you guys start branding Chubby Guys Paranormal, you're gonna get busy.
See, and that's the thing. Like I see it. I mean, and nothing against anybody calling themselves a shaman or and they're going to people's house and heal. You know, all this stuff. I have nothing against them. But sometimes when I'm watching them, I'm like, wow, you're just inviting more.
Mm-hmm.
They make good money, though. We know we did a case where they called one in from Rochester, and he charged $1,400.
Yeah, I had a debate with another buddy of mine. He kind of does the same thing I do, and I was like, now would they be a real person, a real somebody to help somebody out if they're charging? He goes, yeah, I don't see why not. They have to get there. They have to use gas. You know, their time is getting there, especially if it's far. I was like, but like $1,400 a night, and he started laughing. He's like, I got the wrong job. You know, and usually when they come and do your house to cleanse your house, because we have a society that does that, it's usually apples, oranges, meats, fish, stuff like that. You know, so I'm very skeptical about the ones that take a paycheck. But I guess everybody's got to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've never charged for that. I mean, in a legal sense, that opens you up to a whole different ballgame, because now you're providing a service. And what legal service are we really providing?
Right.
Exactly. Ghostbusters had that same problem.
I know. Evan is working on a hearse, though, for us.
I tell you what, though, I would never give up any of the baked goods that we get when we go to some of these places.
Oh, God.
Let's try in Canada.
Do they have poutine up there?
And a lot of baked goods.
I got poutine in my blood. Love that stuff.
We bleed gravy.
Yeah.
So that's a real thing. I mean, you got poutine up there.
Oh, yeah.
Damn the COVID! I'm coming.
Oh yeah. French fries, cheese, and gravy.
We order one thing of poutine per person, and then we're good.
But like,
that sounds about normal.
But like the history part of where we're at is like, I think has a lot to do with a lot of paranormal activity around here. I mean, this area was kind of incorporated in 1700 exactly. The church was built in 1756. Before that, it was occupied by British personnel. We have an Indian agent mansion here, which we call evidence there. We call it the Heritage Center. We have a lot of our coming of age ceremonies there. But we did an investigation there. We kind of sort of broke in. I think that's every investigator's thing is breaking and entering.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And especially when you're first starting out. But we had taken pictures of the outside, and I caught something in the window, and it was two people holding hands, and the lady had a big dress on, you know, like an 1800 style dress, and he had riding gloves on. That very night, we found a child's headstone in the garage, in the outbuildings, and we were like, dumb people in that picture were crying for that baby. So what made me, and I don't know if it's like, man, I felt what they were feeling. I want to help them burn tobacco for them and see if that helps them, or get a priest in, or whatever religion they were, or, you know, to try to, because obviously they're still hurting. They're still looking for their baby. And that same house, my wife was going up the stairs and something grabbed her leg, and this was at night. So we went back there the next day, and there was no way anybody could be in the stairs because they were solid stairs. You know how, like, if you walk upstairs, you feel like somebody's going to grab your leg? She got that sensation. It's just a bunch of stuff we have. What else is there? Come on, Chris, pick it up. We just went dead air.
Really no, I was waiting for you.
Yeah, I kind of. Oh, my boy just walked in, and I was talking, and he just got out chips and dip and a donut, and I just whirl.
Chips, dips, and a donut.
Yeah, you eat them all at once, so you don't have to eat the donut after the chips.
Oh.
I learned that from Will Ferrell. What movie?
Step Brothers?
No, he says. Well, the original line was he has M&M's, jelly donut, and he puts them together so he doesn't have to. I can't even remember the name.
Elf.
Journey to the Center of the Earth or something like that kind of premise.
Oh, Journey to the Center of the Earth? No. Land of the Lost, maybe.
Land of the Lost, I think.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was getting there. I had to go through my own IMDb slots in my head.
Yeah. That's all me and my brother do is just like movie lines.
Yep. She hates it. I'm fluent in it.
Yeah. My wife hates it too.
We'll watch a movie and the next day he'll quote it. He's like, "Don't you remember? We just watched it last night." And I'm like, "How do you have it memorized already?"
The question is, how don't you have it memorized?
Thank you.
I was so impressed when you said Six Demon Bag. I'm like, oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies. I'm like, oh my God. You know, they have a t-shirt with Egg Chen on it.
Oh, my brother got to meet. Say it, Chris. Who is it?
Which one?
Lopan.
Oh yeah, Lopan. He was awesome.
Lopan.
David Chan? No.
Yeah.
I can't remember his real name. But yeah, he was cool. Got a picture with him.
He's like 136 years old and still puts on the equipment.
Yeah, he was in full outfit of Lopan. It was great. Got my photo out.
Nice.
My brother actually just shared a meme with me today. It had Lopan and the guy with the electricity. He said, if this was your childhood's Raiden and Shang Tsung, you had a good time.
For real. Exactly.
I still say the first Raiden was better though. Didn't like the second one.
So, hey guys, I got a question for you. Not to break your stride about the whole Lopan conversation.
Leave Jack Button alone.
Another one of my favorite movies. Anyways, so when it comes to equipment, like what kind of stuff do you guys use? I mean, this is for Chris because he's kind of more of the scientific guy. So when you go to an investigation, what do you bring? I
have a SB7 spirit box. I have the K2. I have 2 or 3 digital recorders. When I went to Rolling Hills, actually, I was they have the parabolic microphone, So I bought that from there because I thought it was cool. So I got it. So I use that sometimes. I just downloaded the Phasma box. Okay. It's got like it's kind of like the spirit box. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys ever use that in any investigation. I like it.
Ghost app.
And so I'll use all that, and I have 3 GoPros. I have one that's infrared, and then I use my brother. You know what I mean? So
yeah, he's usually got me by the back of the neck, pushing me in first.
A giant paranormal piece of equipment. I hear you, man.
Exactly.
So hey guys, we're gonna get close to wrapping it up here. We just got the note from Disruption, so I want to thank you guys for being on tonight. I mean, it's great. I remember meeting you a long time ago, but it was for a brief second because I think at that conference I was either working it or on the way out the door or something. So hopefully we can get together, do the Hinsdale. That would be really cool.
Definitely.
Next time. Ask one question though. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
What, as paranormal investigators, how do you feel when they say they think it's something Native American? How does that make you feel? Does that kind of is that like I don't know, how does that make you feel? Does it like make you nervous, or
is it nervous because it's like unfamiliar territory for you guys or something like that?
For me, yeah. I mean, it's when you go Native American, you're talking about some high-powered spirits. You're talking about something that's, I mean, usually as a paranormal investigator, I look at spirits as it was somebody that was alive that's now dead. It's either positive or negative, or it's demonic. It was never, actually human. When you start going Native American spirits, you're talking like the wolf spirit or the spirit of the trees. You're talking like Mother Nature stuff. You know what I mean? So as a paranormal investigator, without knowing, you're kind of like, I'm not really sure what to do about this. I always viewed them as very powerful spirits. So I'm like cautious to do anything to sort of piss it off, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my view. I don't know if the other guys want to chime in, but that's me.
For me, definitely, it was always something that it's held to a higher respect. Not only because, Native Americans have been here for a long time. I mean, we're the new guys. So, I mean, you got to hold that kind of spirit in respect with that. And then actually, once I started working for a United Indian Nation, that only raised that respect even more. I mean, my orientation when I first started working there is we had to know the history of the Oneidas and the Five Nations, and that just raised everything else for me. So I don't want to delve into something that I don't know and disrespect that. So you guys are a great source of wealth for us for any kind of situation that runs into.
Peter?
Well, I know Todd wants to wrap it up quick, but let me just if you give me 3 minutes, I want to recap an investigation we actually did. And to actually communicate with the native spirit, I think is very handicapping for us because one, we don't really understand the culture because we're not taught it in school, which I think is a shame. But then the secondary problem is the language barrier. We don't know that native tongue. So we were called to a case in Floyd, New York. It was basically a trailer. I mean, it wasn't even a house. The land it was on was known as the Punch Bowl in the Floyd, New York area, which would have been Oneida during the early 1700s, I guess. There was a handicapped child in the house that was getting scratched. It ended up being the most bizarre investigation we've ever done. I mean, when you walked in the door right off the bat, there were 50-gallon blue plastic drums. We're pretty sure the parents were making meth, but hey, we don't judge. But the father was of the Mohawk tribe. The daughter she was being scratched. So how do you communicate? So we had the spirit box running. We started asking questions of that period, like the Revolution, the French and Indian War. We started getting responses in French. Like we'd ask a question, have you been to Montreal? Did you participate in the campaign against whatever? No, this one, and we got a sense, there's a soldier there. But then there was also, we started using our iPhones. We brought up pictures of different tribes, this and that. And as soon as we showed a picture of an Oneida Indian woman, the door in the room slammed shut. We're like, okay, is this how they're going to communicate? So we asked again, is this who you are? Not, in essence, are you a woman of this tribe? The door slammed again. So we'd ask a series of questions. Nothing would happen. Then when something was relevant to her, she slammed the door. Now, the father, who was a Mohawk, like I had said at the time, he's pretty much in the hallway having a seizure. Like whatever was there was attacking him. Well, we were investigating, and come to find out, and then one of the investigators showed a picture of a Mohawk warrior, and that's when all hell broke loose. I mean, he actually had like a little bit of scratching. So the best we could surmise, again, this being the cultural barrier, is that something happened to her or her tribe via that tribe. I mean,
yeah, it's
like I said, we picked up on the French. God, what the hell is the name of that? Fort Frontenac.
Yep.
Frontenac came through the spirit box. There is
awesome.
no way in hell the word Frontenac should ever be on our radio up here. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
That's not a word unless you're a historian. You know about that.
Yeah.
That campaign. But I mean, that was
awesome.
just one instance where that was native to whatever was on that land. Had nothing to do with the house. So we assume maybe the lady was protecting the child. I mean, that was our best summation.
And seeing that right there would be one like probably one of my easiest cases to handle. And that's, you know, but before we have to go, I wanted to show you, you know, this was in my freezer. This is the stuff my wife goes through. So Kevin, you know, your wife, this is what she gets to find in her freezer.
I'm not even asking for a father.
Wow. Interesting. Guys,
It looks gorgeous.
thank you so much for being on our show tonight.
Thank you for having us, man. It was a blast.
It went fast.
We appreciate it. Hopefully you'll come back on for another episode at some point in the future and share some case stuff with us. And so from all of us here at Agent Paranormal, to our guests, thank you. To our viewers, I was going to say our listening audience, but we're not on radio. To our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, Disruption Network. And we'll be back in a couple weeks, I'm sure, once we get a date hashed out. And hopefully we'll get back to our regular scheduled show here after this whole pandemic. So with that being said, please be safe. Make sure you practice social distancing. We need to stop this thing. It's killing us here. We need to make sure that we put it in its tracks and get past this. So from all of us to all of you, have a wonderful night. Stay safe. Thank you.